studio. Welcome to the news. My name is Clifford Richards.
And I'm Shine Ali. Let's have a look at the headlines first.
Young cricketer Pathum Nissanka records a double century, breaking the record of Sanat Jayasuriya set 24 years ago.
සටහන් කරනවා ඉතිහාසයේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට ශ්‍රී ලංකා පිතිකරුවෙකු එක්දින තරගයකදී ලබා ගන්නා ප්‍රථම ද්විත්ව ශතකය වාර්තා කර ගන්නවා.
Addressing the Indian Ocean Conference, the President invites all to create a secured and prosperous Indian Ocean. A loan has been granted for paddy mill owners to purchase paddy harvest in the Maha season. 201 non-roadworthy buses were repaired and added to service. A robot deployed to tap rubber latex for the first time in Sri Lanka. Issuing results of the Pakistan general election is at a slow pace.
Moving on to the stories in detail, and topping the news today is the first ever ODI double century by a Sri Lankan player, and that was recorded today, and that was recorded by Pathum Nissanka.
Most certainly, and he set this record against the Afghanistan team at the first ODI played in Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. And earlier highest record was placed by Sanat Jayasuriya in the year 2000 by scoring 189 runs. Afghanistan won the toss and elected to field first. Accordingly, the opening pair Pathum Nissanka and Avishka Fernando displayed a batting spree against Afghanistan bowlers. Avishka Fernando was out for 88 runs, then Sadira Samaravikraman joined Pathum Nissanka and recorded a speedy 45 runs. Pathum Nissanka scored 210 runs in 139 deliveries with 8 sixes and 20 fours. Sri Lanka gave a target of 382 runs to Afghanistan, losing only 3 wickets. And in the meantime, President Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered a speech at the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth, focusing on the theme towards a stable and sustainable Indian Ocean.
In fact, he highlights the critical need for enhanced connectivity infrastructure to accommodate the projected 8-fold increase in the GDP of countries like India and Indonesia. That's by the year 2050.
The Indian Ocean is a multipolar and has resisted domination by a single power. The multipolarity is a reflection of the essence of the Indian Ocean region and its people. As Asia emerged from colonialism, the newly independent countries of Asia, Ceylon, Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Burma and Pakistan, convened the Bandung Conference in 1955 to oppose colonialism in all its forms. The conference declaration to oppose big power rivalry in turn led to the non-aligned movement. Since then, the Indian Ocean region has been influenced by the spirit of Bandung. It has never become a part of the US hub and spoke system. The past 2 decades has seen the emergence of diverse framings of the Indian Ocean region and a flurry of diplomatic activity articulating various policy positions, tilts and frameworks. What is clear is that no single objective geopolitical construct has emerged, and we are left instead with a contested vision with multiple interpretations. The key frameworks that have emerged include, in addition to IORA, the Indo-Pacific, the BRI, the Quad and the BRICS. There are also regional organizations including ASEAN, ARF, ACD, BIMSTEC, SAARC, GCC, Arab League, OIC, SADC, EAC and SCO that have been established. Additionally, we have the operational arrangements that deal with specific areas of cooperation, including RCEP, IONS, the Djibouti Code of Conduct, IOTC, and the Indian Ocean Commission, MAS, and the 4 regional information fusion centers and the CGPCS contact group on piracy off the coast of Somalia. Along with these frameworks and groupings, we have also seen an increased militarization of the Indian Ocean, which is redefining power balances and alliances. In the maritime space, we see a building up in naval capabilities with India, USA, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia and China, all increasing their naval presence significantly. Therefore, balancing between the great power rivalry is becoming an increasingly more complex task. As a result, the space for maneuverability for littoral states is shrinking fast as this rivalry in the Indian Ocean region intensifies and spills over into decision making on political, economic and security issues. The probable question to choose one over the other is perennially hanging over us. Secondly, the geopolitical developments has resulted in increase in the strategic importance of the Western Indian Ocean that was not foreseen 4 years ago. This is in turn shifting the geopolitical emphasis towards the Indian Ocean. The Ukrainian war and the consequent Western sanctions on Russia has resulted in the resource-rich economy finding new markets in China and the Western Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean stability therefore requires an early end to the Gaza war, followed by A, the establishment within 5 years of an independent Palestine state, and B, guarantees for the security of the State of Israel. The recent attacks on commercial vessels by Yemen-based Houthi rebels is a challenge to the freedom of navigation. We have to ensure access and mobility in Suez Canal, the Red Sea, Bab el-Mandeb and the Gulf of Aden. In addition, we are also faced with threat of Somali pirates once again. The safety of undersea cables and critical infrastructure are also facing additional threats. The presence of drugs in the Indian Ocean and human smuggling has increased. The IUU fishing still takes place. These threats present a challenge to the freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. We need to refocus on the freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka offers to recommence the discussions on the freedom of navigation in this ocean. According to estimates, there will be an 8-fold increase in the GDP of India and Indonesia by 2050. Similar increases are expected in some of the other countries in South and West Asia. This requires additional port capacities and new transport routes.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Roger Cook of the Western Australia state met President Ranil Wickremesinghe today as part of the President's official itinerary in Perth for the Indian Ocean Conference. During the discussions, the Premier conveyed his state's keen interest in renewable energy and agricultural development, along with establishing direct aviation connections between Sri Lanka and Perth. He emphasized Perth's strategic location on the Indian Ocean as an opportunity for South Asian nations to foster closer ties with border Australian regions. President Wickremesinghe highlighted Sri Lanka's ongoing efforts to develop its renewable energy sector while underscoring the country's vast potential in this area. Additionally, the President outlined Sri Lanka's modernization program in agriculture and extended an invitation to the Western Australian Premier to promote investment in this sector. President Wickremesinghe invited the Premier to visit Sri Lanka and explore the investment opportunities in the country. President Ranil Wickremesinghe conveyed and convened with members of the Sri Lanka's Diaspora community in Perth this morning. During the meeting, the President provided an update on the nation's recovery efforts and discussed strategies for modernizing the economy. Throughout the discussions, the Diaspora voiced their eagerness to assist the government in advancing economic development across various sectors, such as climate change and tourism. Additionally, President's Chief of Staff Sagal Ratnayaka detailed plans for the establishing of the Office of Overseas Sri Lankans. He emphasized that this initiative would provide an avenue for the diaspora to engage constructively with the government. In response to various inquiries, the President affirmed the government's dedication to executing long-standing policies. Additionally, Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri provided further insight into initiatives aimed at facilitating programs in Sri Lanka that are backed by Sri Lankan expatriates. Sagal Ratnayaka underscored the ongoing IMF program, emphasizing the importance of the diagnostics report released last year. He appealed for the continuous backing of the Sri Lankan diaspora in carrying forward the reform program. Meanwhile, the President explained the efforts to revamp Sri Lanka's education system, which includes plans for introducing private universities as well.
And on to more local news. A special program is now underway to purchase paddy harvest of this Maha season from the farmers. And the Department of Agriculture has presented the minimum rates of purchasing paddy harvests. The government has provided a loan through private and state bank to small and medium-scale mill owners and paddy collectors and paddy warehouse owners. The government has decided not to purchase paddy through the Paddy Marketing Board this year. Accordingly, paddy harvest is purchased at the minimum prices declared by the Department of Agriculture. This program is carried out under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance. Accordingly, a kilo of Samba variety is purchased at a price of 120 rupees and the Kiri Samba variety is at 130 rupees. Nadu variety with over 14% of dampness is purchased at 90 rupees per kilo. Samba variety is 100 rupees a kilo and Kiri Samba variety is purchased at 120 rupees per kilo. Small and medium-scale mill owners are able to draw a maximum loan of 50 million rupees to purchase paddy. The paddy warehouse owners and collectors will be provided with a maximum loan of 25 million rupees through state and private banks. Under this loan scheme, only the paddy harvest of this Maha season, Secretary says that this program has been implemented for the protection of consumers and to controlling the price hike of rice in the local market and to maintain the prices at a stable level. Minister Mahinda Amravira said that they held a discussion on the purchase of paddy harvest and the President's proposal to distribute 20 kilograms of rice for each low-income family during the festive season. All relevant parties came to an agreement regarding the price of paddy. Ministry of Agriculture has decided to grant the required funds to the small and medium-scale paddy mill owners. The government has agreed to provide a sum of 9 million rupees for them through state and private banks, and the government bear 4% of the bank interest on behalf of the mill owners. Private sector purchase paddy at lower prices such as 65 to 70 rupees per kilo. With the government assured prices, the farming communities will have some relief.
Well, the two-day debate held over the government's policy statement presented to the Parliament by President Ranil Wickremesinghe ended today. Well, this debate was started by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Ruling and opposition party politicians expressed numerous views at this debate. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that we have to prepare a program to make state corporations economically independent entities without depending on the treasury. Even the Parliament is of the view that alternative economic gateways should be opened. The government has been able to redeem Bank of Ceylon and the People's Bank by making them independent entities. With the debt restructuring program, we all have to work collectively, or else the country would have to face a foreign exchange crisis again.
අභිවෘද්ධ කරගන්නට ඕන. අපි ප්‍රතිවිරුද්ධ ගත කිරීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙලට අත්වැල් බැඳගෙන වැඩ නොකරොත් අපි මේ ආකාරයෙන්ම මහා විදේශ විනිමය අපෙන් විදේශ කරා ගමන් කිරීමේ දරුණු ප්‍රශ්නයට අපි මුහුණ දෙයි.
Parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva says that Sri Lanka cannot solve all of its economic problems only through the IMF loan facility. The opposition group is discussing the economic matters these days. Our entire program will be presented to the general public in the future. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that we all have to have national consensus on this process. The Sri Lankan government has signed an agreement with the IMF. Therefore, no leader can present alternative solutions going against the IMF. Minister Gunawardena invites all the opposition groups to get together for a national development program.
ගිහිල්ලා රාජ්‍ය නායකයෙක් එකඟ වෙලා තියෙන මුළු ලෝකෙම අපි අත්තරියොත් කවුරු හරි හිතනවා නම් තමුන් ඇවිල්ලා මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා මේ ඇත්ත මිනිසුන්ට කියලා මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ගෙන යාම සඳහා දේශපාලන වශයෙන් තියෙන වෛර, පුද්ගලික අභිමතාර්ථ, රජ වෙන්න තියෙන ආසාවල් සියල්ල අත්හැරලා රට වශයෙන් මෙතනින් ගොඩ ඒම සඳහා ජාතික එකඟතාවයක් ඇති කරගන්න මේ වැඩපිළිවෙලෙන් හැර වෙන විකල්ප වැඩපිළිවෙලක් නැහැ. ඒ IMF කියන්නේ එක විසඳුමක් විස.
Parliamentarian Dallas Salah Perma says that resorting to the agreement with the IMF is not the only solution. This government has evaded 2 national elections. Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana says that elections will not be postponed this year. The presidential election will be definitely held this year. The president requested the people to, with conscience, to undergo all these difficulties for 2 years. In this year, 2 to 3% economic growth is expected. The government also expects to achieve more economic progress in the next year.
4 වසරේ මේ වසරේ පුළුවන් වෙයි 2ක 3ක ආර්ථික වර්ධනයක් ලබා ගන්න. අපි අමාරු අවුරුදු දෙකක් පහු කළා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි 20 22කට වඩා 20 හොඳ වුණා වගේම 20ට වඩා 24 යහපත් වෙනවා වගේම 25 වසර මීට වඩා හොඳ වෙයි. ඒ නිසා හෙට ඊතරම් කළුවර නැහැ කියන්නේ.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන් අද
Parliamentarian Vajira Vivardhana says that there is no genuine opposition in the country at present. All current opposition parliamentarians are former members of the ruling party. People are not ready to accept them as opposition party members. The party that took only 3 seats are going along a totally different way. We invite them as well to join this program.
Speaking more on the subject, Parliamentarian Vajira Vivardhana says that the President's invitation for all political leaders to join hands disregarding the political differences is very much important. The President made this invitation while presenting the government policy statement in Parliament recently. At a press briefing held in Sirikota UNP party headquarters yesterday, Parliamentarian Vajira Vivardhana stressed that as the President is directing the country towards the right path, all should extend their support to the President. Parliamentarian Vajira Vivardhana said that the President's speech highlights that it is misfortune of the country to not have proper policy. The President's intention is that all should take decisions thinking the well-being of the people, not our personal gains. Employment of the public sector is safe at present. There is no shortage of fuel and gas. Nothing has been deprived to the country since the Ranil Wickremesinghe came into office as the President. Ranil Wickremesinghe during the period of 2015 to 2019 worked to imprison Rajapaksa family members. Rajapaksa regime considered Ranil Wickremesinghe as their main opponent. However, the Pulujana Peramuna ultimately decided to join hands with Ranil Wickremesinghe, and they did it thinking the importance of national responsibility. 201 UN roadworthy buses were repaired and added to the running fleet today under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena.
Well, this program is underway to strengthen the SLTB fleet of buses with the aim of providing better service to commuters. Well, this has been implemented under the guidance of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. There were 852 unroadworthy buses in Sri Lanka Transport Board by January last year. Then the repair of buses was launched island-wide last year with the help of engineers and technicians serving in 107 depots and 11 regional workshops. Under the first stage, 193 broken buses were repaired and transformed into running order. A sum of 193 million rupees was spent for this purpose. Under the second stage, 201 broken buses were repaired at a cost of 270 million rupees. If the board purchases 200 new buses, a sum of 4,200 million rupees could be needed. Deploying these newly renovated buses for passenger service, the SLTB will be able to earn a daily income of 10 million rupees. These newly renovated buses will generate a net profit of 1,200 million rupees through passenger transport. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi and Chamara Sampath Dasanayaka and many public representatives were present at this ceremony. Well, State Minister of Power and Energy D.V. Chanaka announced a revenue generation of $3 million through a sale of 5,200 metric tons of fuel via the revived bunkering system for vessels. Well, this signifies a significant step forward in stabilizing the country's energy finances. He made these remarks at a press briefing titled Collective Path to Stable Country, held at the President's Media Center yesterday. Well, the State Minister D.V. Chanaka emphasized the establishment of a $200 million buffer stock. This prudent measure demonstrates proactive planning to mitigate future economic fluctuations and ensure energy security. Acknowledging the past economic struggles, State Minister Chanaka referenced the time when Sri Lanka faced fuel shortages and long queues. However, he highlighted the nation's gradual progress achieved through collective efforts. He commended everyone involved for their dedication, attributing the current stability in oil supply to their collaboration. The State Minister proudly announced that Sri Lanka currently holds the largest oil reserves in its recent history, signifying a significant improvement in fuel security and preparedness. Additionally, he reassured the public about the maintenance of a balanced petroleum legal corporation dollar system, suggesting responsible financial management within the sector. The Sri Lankan government is taking proactive measures to ensure energy security and navigate global oil price fluctuations. State Minister of Power and Energy D.V. Chanaka recently addressed the nation with these promising updates. Firstly, the government is building a $200 million buffer stock to safeguard against potential economic shocks. This demonstrates their commitment to future energy security. Additionally, they maintain a weekly supply of dollars to meet immediate needs, signifying responsible financial management. State Minister proudly announced the current fuel stocks exceeding 75,410 tons, encompassing various types of fuel for vehicles.
And in the meantime, for the first time in Sri Lanka, a rubber tapping robot has been introduced. And this new innovation has jointly been created by the Sri Lanka Rubber Research Institute and Intelligent Harvest Technologies private company. The new robot machine was practically used in rubber cultivations of the Sri Lanka Rubber Research Institute recently. This robot is automatically activated by the commands given to it through the computer system. The robot machine is able to tap about 20,000 rubber trees a day without wasting the latex. The machine can tap the latex even in rainy weather without contaminating water with the latex. This machine is completely activated automatically. This is a product of China, and the Intelligent Harvest Technologies company has been conducting researches for over 15 years in Sri Lanka. This robot gets power from 2 lithium-ion batteries which need only once a year recharge. The rubber tapping blade also lasts for about 2 years approximately.
Well, with that smart tapping technology, we're now moving on to more local news items in brief. 1,000 low-income families in the Anuradhapura district were provided with 40 kilos of rice for each family. This event was held yesterday under the patronage of Chief Incumbent of the Ruwanvali Mahasaya, the Venerable Ithalavetnuvawe Gnanathilaka. This was held under the guidance of Venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Nayaka. U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chang met Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene at the Parliamentary Complex yesterday. The General Secretary of Parliament Kushani Rohanabira and Chief of Staff of Parliament Chaminda Kularatne were also present at this meeting. A special walk was started yesterday to mark the 33rd anniversary of the National Ironwood Forest. This has been organized by the NPO Happy New Earth organization in Japan. The walk stretches about 100 kilometers from the National Ironwood Forest to Sigiriya. This will end on the 12th of this month. A ceremony was held at the D.S. College in Colombo today to mark the 57th anniversary. It was held on the patronage of an old boy of the school. Chairman of the Chartered Accountants Institute, Heshana Kurupu, students of the primary section released cage birds to mark this event. Principal of the school, staff members, old boys and parents and large crowds were present.
Focusing on the health sector, health authorities say that there is a slight decrease of dengue patients in the western and other provinces. The authorities attributed this development to public attention paid to control this decrease.
වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටීන් ඩෙන්ගු නැති හැටක්.
The Dengue Control Unit says that the spread of dengue fever can be controlled by keeping the environment clean and free of mosquito breeding places. The relevant local government institutions have taken measures to fumigate to minimize mosquito population. The health authorities stress the need to keep the school, government offices and public places clean.
සමග මෝටීන් ඩෙන්ගු නැති හැටක්.
Well, that's a look at news at home. We're going to take a short break and we're back with international stories shortly.
Happy Valentine's Day, Prima Kotomi. Stay safe and share the hot and spicy love.
Welcome back after the break and moving on to news overseas. The results of yesterday's vote began trickling in after a delay of nearly 10 hours, which the Election Committee of Pakistan blamed on the suspension of phone and internet services by the government. Unofficial and incomplete results were reported by local TV channels, prompting Imran Khan's PTI party to claim they were at least 49 seats so far. Nawaz Sharif, Pakistan's former Prime Minister, won his seat in Lahore constituency but lost his battle for another National Assembly seat in the constituency of Manshera. Candidates are allowed to contest both National Assembly seats and Provincial Assembly seats at the same time but can only choose one seat if they win both. Maryam Nawaz Sharif's daughter also won a seat in Lahore in the National Assembly. Bilawal Bhutto's Sundari, son of former Pakistan PM Benazir Bhutto, who was also assassinated in 2007, and former President Asif Ali Sardari, has also won a National Assembly seat.
Happy Valentine's Day, Prima Kotomi. Stay safe and share the hot and spicy love.
And moving on to sports news, Australia won the second semi-final match of the Under-19 World Cup ODI cricket tournament by 1 wicket.
And this match was played in Wilmer Park in South Africa between Australia and Pakistan. Well, batting first, Pakistan scored 179 all out in 48.5 overs. Ahsan Awais and Afrath Minhas scored 52 runs each. In bowling, Tom Strikers claimed 6 wickets for 24 runs. In reply, Australia passed the victory target in 49.1 overs. Harry Dixon scored 50. Oliver Peake scoring 49. In bowling, Ali Raza claimed 4 wickets for 34 runs. Tom Striker was named the man of the match.
Happy Valentine's Day, Prima Kotomi. Stay safe and share the hot and spicy love.
And with that cricketing note, it's time to end the news. Together with Hesha, this is Clifford wishing you good night and do enjoy the rest of the programs.